today we discuss applications of Gauss's law. In our last class we studied Gauss law and we also proved the Gauss law. And here we take electric field due to a charged spherical conductor. This is the first application that we are discussing on Gauss law, based on Gauss law. Electric field due to a charged spherical conductor. Spherical conductor, we mean it is a hollow sphere, right? And it is uniformly charged. And the radius of the spherical conductor, let us take R is the radius of the spherical conductor, O is the center of the spherical conductor, it is hollow, all charges reside outside the spherical conductor. Now we have to calculate the electric field due to this charged spherical conductor. Let plus Q be the charge on the spherical conductor. Now there are three cases to discuss. First one, electric field at a point P dash which is outside the spherical conductor, right? And in the second case we discuss what is the electric field at point P on the spherical conductor. And in the third case we study what is the electric field at point P double dash which is within the spherical conductor. Okay. Let us study first the first case, electric field at a point outside the charged spherical conductor. Okay, P dash is the point, R is the radius of the spherical conductor, O is the center of the spherical conductor, and this distance is R. In order to find electric field at this point P dash, what we will do is we apply Gauss's law, because there are so many, you cannot apply Coulomb's law taking individual point charges, and it will become addition of several electric field vectors, which is very difficult. Adding electric field vectors when their Woody number is very difficult. So we use the Gauss's law. In order to apply Gauss's law, what we will do is Gauss law is applied for the Gaussian surface. So we construct a spherical conductor with O as the center and P dash is on its point. This is a Gaussian, imaginary Gaussian surface with O as center and point P dash is on its surface, and its radius is small r, which is distance between point O and P dash. And from Gauss law we write why we choose this spherical Gaussian surface, because spherical Gaussian surface, it is easy to evaluate the integral. From Gauss law we know, on Gauss's law, surface integral E dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught, where Q is the total charge on the spherical conductor. This Gaussian surface consists of charges, and charges are uniformly distributed, and everywhere on the Gaussian surface E is the same because distance is same. Everywhere on this Gaussian surface, you take everywhere, E is the same. Whatever E is there on P dash, the same E is there on the surface because same charges are there inside the conductor. Okay, inside this spherical Gaussian surface. And E is always, it is along the normal. It is along the normal. Okay, it is normal to the surface. So the angle between normal and E is 0. So this dot product E into ds cos 0, and cos 0 is 1. So automatically this will become surface integral. E is also outside because E is same everywhere. I can take outside the integration. EDS, and this actually becomes E dot ds. You can write even EDS cos 0 is equal to q by epsilon, and cos 0 is 1. Automatically I am taking E also outside, so E into ds is equal to q by epsilon, and the surface integral of this Gaussian surface, imaginary Gaussian surface, is 4 pi r square. E into 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon. This gives rise to, if you write E for this is q divided by 4 pi epsilon r square. Okay. This result we are going to get. E is q divided by 4 pi epsilon r square. This is very important result. See, it appears for an outside point, outside for this charged spherical conductor, for an outside point, all these point charges appears to be the total charge at point O. For that reason, it is E equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon q divided by r square. From Gauss's law, E for a point charge, if plus q is at O, and you are for writing electric field for a point which is at a distance r, then we write E is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon q divided by r square. So this result and this result are the same. So you can conclude, for a point outside the spherical conductor, the charges on the spherical conductor appears to be concentrated at its center, and this is what we got for a point charge, this we got for a spherical conductor. Both are the same, means all the charges are appears to be concentrated at O, and plus q is at O for an outside point P dash, and E depends inversely to the square of the distance between center and outside point. This is case 1. In case 2, we discuss electric field at a point on the charged spherical conductor. Instead of outside, on the charged spherical conductor, means point is on the charged conductor, means I will take now point P. P is the point, R is the radius of spherical, and R is the distance between point P from O. So only distance is, instead of small r, you get capital R. This is the distance between O and P. So you have just replace, everything is same. The spherical conductor itself becomes Gaussian surface. This is itself the Gaussian surface. Okay. And then what happens? Here, instead of r square, small r square, you get capital R square, and here you get the same result. Okay. This is what we get for a point on the spherical conductor. Okay. It is, instead of small r, you get q divided by 4 pi epsilon r square. Again, E depends on r square only. Now let us discuss for a point inside the spherical conductor. Now I consider P double dash is the point inside the spherical conductor. P double dash is the point, R is the radius of the spherical conductor. Now R dash is the distance between, R dash is the distance between point P dash, point P double dash from O. Right? From Gauss's law you can write the same. Right? This becomes 4 pi, because now Consider an imaginary Gaussian surface of a radius small r. So small r dash is the radius of the Gaussian surface. So surface will become 4 pi r dash pi. But what about Q? Here Q is very important. Q, all charges reside, it is hollow sphere. All charges reside outside the spherical conductor. No charges are inside. So this Gaussian surface does not enclose any charge. So this Q becomes 0. This also becomes 0. So ultimately it becomes 0. So P is equal to 0 inside the charged spherical conductor. Why it is 0? Because no charges are enclosed by this Gaussian surface. For that reason, the electric field inside the charged sphere is 0. Okay, that's for charged spherical conductor. If you take charged spherical sphere instead of conductor, if I write charged spherical sphere, let us take the second application, electric field due to a charged spherical sphere. Sphere means it is a solid ball, right? Solid ball. Earlier case we discussed hollow metallic ball. Now we are discussing for a solid ball. Here also three cases. First case, electric field outside, charged sphere, right? Here it is said E into surface integral E dot ds. The case is same, so I am reducing the steps. E dot ds will become E ds because angle E everywhere on this Gaussian surface is along the normal. So angle between E and the normal is 0, cos 0. Dot product means E, magnitude of E vector, E magnitude of ds is ds into cos 0 is 1. And from Gauss's law its value is q by epsilon E into 4 pi r square, q by epsilon E is equal to q divided by 4 pi epsilon r square. This is for outside. And if you do same result we are getting, only the third case result is different. Outside, instead of outside on spherical conductor, then point P, which is at a distance r from the center, then this becomes r square and this becomes r square. Q is the total charge. So second result is also same as in the previous case. If you go to the third case, this is a different. Here what we are finding electric field inside charged spherical, inside charged sphere. Here it is different. Now we are taking the point P double dash at a distance r dash from point O. This is a solid sphere. So there are charges on this also. The charges are solid sphere everywhere. And this, and we have to consider only this charge on this sphere. Let us write its charge as plus q dash. Then this becomes E into ds q dash divided by epsilon, where q dash is the charge on this charged sphere, right? Q dash divided by epsilon. And this is same and it becomes r dash square, right? R dash square. And for q dash what you have to do is, see this, for q dash what I will calculate this way. If Rho is the charge density. Rho is the charge density. Charge density means total charge divided by total volume. Charge per unit volume is rho. 4 by 3 pi r cube is the total volume, total charge divided by total volume. This is charge density. Rho is the charge density. So now I will write Q is this. If I want to write for Q dash is rho into, this is charge per unit volume. Now I have to take volume of this sphere. So 4 by 3 pi r dash q. This is Q dash. So I have to substitute here. This is saying E into 4 pi, right, r dash pi r. This is equal to Q dash is rho into 4 by 3 pi r cube, and this epsilon naught as it is. Okay, this r dash cancels with this. Okay, then E is equal to, we will get rho divided by 3 epsilon naught. 4 pi also gets cancels. 4 by 3 pi gets cancels. So this is r dash. So rho divided by this 3 is there. Only 4 pi gets cancels. Rho divided by 3 epsilon naught r dash. E is the electric field inside the charged sphere. You should be careful whether it is they asked charged sphere or charged spherical conductor. Okay. Now is it clear? Okay. Thank you.